In October, United Nations Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon will meet with leaders from both sides of the conflict in Cyprus, with the hopes of fostering peace between the ethnically Turkish population in the north and ethnically Greek population in the south. Maria Hadjipavu, a political science professor at the University of Cyprus, is less than optimistic for the reunification of the island, which has been divided along a United Nations enforced buffer zone since 1974. Her skepticism is shared by many of the island's citizens.
The major issue with regard to the negotiations is that there is a lot of uncertainty. There are rumors that the UN they've had it with Cyprus, and we are fearful that there will be more deepening of this separation.
The conference comes at a time of particularly high tensions on the island, which stand to seriously jeopardize any chance the peace talks have of reaching a conclusive agreement. These negotiations, which began in 1968 under a UN mandate, have dragged on with little progress. Mrs. Hadjipavu fears that without evidence of strong reconciliatory efforts from both communities, the UN may abandon the peace project altogether, as government forces in the Turkish capital of Ankara prep for military action.
Till now, I have not really seen trust as being one of the underlying foundations of these peace talks. I think they are not really peace talks. They're really bargaining. They're negotiations in the sense that each side sees what to get from the other. Instead of looking at the problem as a shared conflict, as a shared problem.
Hadjipavu, who is also the founder of the Cyprus Peace Center and co-founder of the first independent non-governmental organization for women in Cyprus, cites division at the societal level as a major obstacle standing in the way of reunification, which she has, through her work with various organizations, experienced firsthand.
Because of my communal engagement, my peace work across the divide, I was very badly attacked by the right-wing press. So it was a time that it was very difficult for me. I was very badly misunderstood very often. Speaking about multiculturalism, they interpreted it that I was demeaning our Greekness.
For Hadjipavu, agreements made by political forces will not necessarily alter societal relations between the two communities. Rather, she stresses the need to first develop a culture of coexistence.
I think what is really, really important is that the island has been divided the last 37 years. The two communities have really been leading their lives separately. It's not enough to say that we want a solution.
At this point, however, the prospect of reconciliation at the political level seems equally unlikely. The island's president, Dimitris Christofias, has confirmed that within a matter of weeks, Cyprus will begin exploratory oil drilling off of the southern coast, an operation being funded by the Texas-based corporation Noble Energy. This decision has prompted a number of military threats from Ankara, which maintains close ties to the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, a de facto state that unilaterally declared independence from the rest of the island in 1983. Andreas Theophanous, director of the Cyprus Center for European and International Affairs, a policy-oriented research institution, looks at what this means for international relations.
With developments in the Eastern Mediterranean recently, with the discovery of gas reserves in the economic zone of the Republic of Cyprus and Turkish assertiveness in relation to the issue, it attracted regional and international media.
According to the Ankara Anatolia news agency, Turkish Minister for European Union Affairs Egemen Bagis has stated that if the pursuit of these gas reserves yields results, Ankara is prepared to respond with naval force in order to protect the economic interests of the island's northern Turkish population. From the Turkish point of view, this potentially lucrative drilling initiative would benefit only the southern, ethnically Greek citizens of the island, thus continuing the legacy of diminished rights and marginalization for the island's Turkish minority.
The Turkish Cypriot leadership, more often than not, is in line with Turkey, and there is a clear dependency.
Theophanous outlines the other side of the story, the Greek Cypriot sentiments surrounding the threats from Ankara.
The majority of Greek Cypriots feel that Turkey is an expansionist hegemonic power. It wants to dominate the area of the Eastern Mediterranean, and Turkey does not recognize the right of the Republic of Cyprus to exist.
Disagreement over oil reserves, however, is not the only thing standing in the way of a peaceful reunification. The independence of northern Cyprus is recognized only by Turkey, while the rest of the international community, including the United Nations, recognizes the legal authority of the Republic of Cyprus over the entire island.
Since 1974, Turkey occupies the northern part of Cyprus. It has here 40,000 troops. Turkey would like to see a resolution of the issue which would turn Cyprus into a protectorate.
Currently, Cyprus stands next in line to inherit the rotating presidency of the European Union in 2012. Former Turkish Minister of the Interior and current Deputy Prime Minister Beşir Atalay has warned that if Cyprus assumes the presidency, Ankara will freeze all relations with the European Union, which could ignite an international controversy.
Both the EU and the UN have invested a lot, hoping that there will be an end to this problem and we'll have a solution.
Turkey's reluctance to recognize the legitimacy of Cyprus, and therefore the European Union as a whole, may alter relations between Europe and the Muslim world, creating more space for future problems between these two global influences to emerge.
It's a very volatile situation now, so we don't know what will happen next year. We don't know what will happen by next week.
Whatever does happen in the coming weeks, however, will undoubtedly influence global politics, especially between Turkey, a European Union candidate, and the rest of the European powers.
Cyprus receives more attention than its size would suggest. At this stage, among other things, Cyprus is one of the chapters, one of the dimensions of Euro-Turkish relations.
As the UN conference grows closer, a progressive dialogue between the two sides seems improbable. A separate series of complications, including Turkey's rising influence in the Middle East, Greece's dire economic situation, and the historical legacy of violence and ethnic disagreement in the region, can only intensify escalating tensions.
Deep down, I know that things are very, very difficult because people define concepts and terms and so on very differently. They haven't found yet a shared language that is needed when you are willing to reach an agreement.
An end to UN peace efforts in Cyprus, which at present seems plausible, could spark a disastrous chain of events throughout both Europe and the Middle East. In the meantime, the world waits to see if Turkey will move forward with its threats and turn Cyprus once again into a violent conflict, only this time with much more of a global impact. For War News Radio, I'm Sofia Athanassiadis.